Step number 3 is talk to a lender before you do anything. Otherwise, I promise you, this is what's going to happen. You're going to go out, start looking at properties, and like the first place you see is going to be absolutely perfect. Then you're going to go to the lender and find out that that place is over your price range and you can't afford it, and you're going to be heartbroken. But then everything else you see, you're going to compare it to the place that you missed out on, that you couldn't afford. And it's just not going to be a good experience. You're not going to have a good time. So instead, here's what you're going to do. You are going to go to a lender first, give them all your paperwork, your tax returns, your bank statements, your everything. Don't have them run your credit score. Instead, tell them what your credit score is. That way they won't have to run it and won't ding your credit. If you have no idea what your credit score is, I highly recommend you run it on creditkarma.com. It's absolutely free. You can sign up for free in like 5 minutes and it will tell you approximately what your credit score is. Just tell lenders whatever that score is and they'll be able to punch in all the numbers and tell you roughly what you would be able to qualify for. Now this is so important you do this for a few reasons. Number 1, you know from the lender exactly what you could afford, so that way you don't waste anyone's time or your time seeing something that's just out of your price range. Number 2, if you see something you do really like, you've saved a lot of time because you already have all the information in with the lender, and they're pretty much ready to go just pending them running your credit. When it comes to investing in real estate, timing is key, and the quicker you can act on something, generally speaking, the better the deal you're going to get. So once you've got that out of the way, you've spoken with the lender, you figure out exactly what you can qualify for. Start looking at all the properties on the market. This should really be the fun part. Look at everything you possibly can within your price range and then bump it up about 15%, just so you're able to see properties that are a little bit more expensive to compare them to the ones that you're looking at. Now, when it comes to this, the more properties you see, the better. When it comes to me buying real estate, I see absolutely everything on the market. I will see 25 to 60 places, everything in the entire area. So that way when I see the right one, I know it immediately. And once you start seeing more than like 20, 25 homes, you're going to know exactly why something is priced the way it is, what upgrades are reasonable, what upgrades are not reasonable for the area, how well something is priced. If it's in good condition, you're going to have a really good understanding once you see more than like 20 homes or so. Now, until you've seen a lot of homes on the market, you could end up seeing the perfect deal but just not recognize it because you have nothing else to compare it to. Now, some people at this point might recommend looking out of state if you live in an area that's very expensive or just doesn't cash flow. So this might be a good option depending on your circumstance. Now, usually when buying out of state, it's going to be a lot harder to notice some of these subtle trends unless you have someone you really trust or can rely on, or a really good realtor. But even then, you take a risk relying on someone else without fully understanding the deal yourself. And listen, I'm not saying it can't be done because there are many very successful real estate investors that invest out of state.